Hi, this is Greg with Best Choice Trailers. Today we're going to take a walk around the shore track 7x16, 16,000 pound GVW bumper pull telescopic hoist dump trailer. So everything you see on this trailer is a standard feature. Again, it does have the 8,000 pound axle upgrades, and this unit is available in a few different hoist types. On this particular unit, we've chosen the telescopic hoist. So let's take a closer look around this particular trailer. We'll show you all of its standard features. So generally speaking, when we go 8,000 pound axles, we'll do it either in a 14 or 16 foot. It is also available in a 12 foot. This one's shown in a bumper pull. You can also get the same trailer in a gooseneck. So starting out up front, you've got a 4-bolt adjustable coupler. While we could make do with a channel style coupler, they've gone to the heavier duty style. Notice it's reinforced and gusseted it out. Standard also would be the 12K jack. Now on the 14K and down GVWs, it'd be a 7K, but again on the 16, they upgrade to the bigger jack plate. Notice that the jack is removable, replaceable. Wiring harness is sealed, grommeted, ran in frame. If you never had a 12K jack, simply pull the pin. Inner leg spring assisted, so it'll spring up, or you can put your foot on it and take it down. Of course, safety chains, they've got keepers on them to keep from having to lay it over your powder coat and mess your paint up. So the 16-foot telescopic is fairly new to shore track. For quite a while they've offered a telescopic on a 12 and a 14. On that one, that would use a 108-inch cylinder. Now on the 16s, they've had to go to a 120-inch cylinder. Due to the extra amount of fluid, they've had to put a bigger reservoir on, and then also that in turn led to a bigger toolbox, which also in turn led to a little bit longer tongue. So again, that cylinder's made a few changes to this particular unit, but again, it is now available. Notice it is a large reservoir. Again, it's a bigger cylinder. Standard would be a 110 volt charger. This is a newer style charger they've been putting on about a year. We've had pretty good luck with. A Deca deep cycle marine battery. It's a group 24 high capacity. Notice there's 2 lines coming off each stud in addition to the pump power. One of those would be your trickle charger line. The other one would be an accessory charge line. So that's going to charge off your truck side, assuming your truck side has an accessory line working. Sometimes you might need to put a fuse on it. It's got a paddle lock. It's got keys that'll lock your toolbox. And then it's got the 20-foot remote cord. And there's your outside 110 volt plug-in. Now when you go to an 8K axle, a lot of manufacturers will just do a running gear upgrade. And what I mean by that, when you go to 8K axle, generally you're either going to get a 16-inch 14-ply, or in this case, Shore Trac's gone to the solid wheel 17.5, which is a 16-ply tire. So they've chosen to go a little bit heavier on the rubber than what you might sometimes see on an 8K. One thing we appreciate about Shore Trac is you get more than just an axle upgrade. They're actually one of the cheaper 8K axle upgrades in the industry from what we've seen. And again, not only are you getting a running gear upgrade, but on the 8K axle they go to an 8-inch tongue instead of a 6-inch tongue. And then they stay the same 6-inch tube mainframe, but they've gone from a 3/16 wall to a 1/4-inch wall. So it's got a heavy wall frame. Some folks just look at the size of the tube and don't see the actual thickness. So this might not look impressive per se on paper, but in reality, it's a pretty nice tongue frame combo they've got. Same thing with the bed frame, they beefing that up a little bit. So again, as I mentioned earlier, this is a 120 telescopic cylinder. They could have put a 108 potentially on this, but it might not have got the proper angle. So again, they've gone to a lot of pain to get that 120 on there with the toolbox and the pump and tongue and all that, but again, it is the right size cylinder for the job. A couple other little details we appreciate about Shore Trac that we've just learned over the years are nice things to have. 1/2-inch plate on the ramp. We used to have a manufacturer use 1/4, and over time they would bend, but 1/2-inch haven't had a problem yet. This would go in the ramp holder. That would bear the weight on the back end of the trailer. Another detail, that's a 4-inch cross member. You're going to find a lot of dumps are going to use a 3-inch. Shore Trac on some of the models, especially the 8K axles, you're going to get a 4-inch cross member on there. One of the newer features would be the punch plate side ramp. They used to be a piece of channel with an expanded mesh, but this is the new improved design. Nice look, gives some extra safety. You also notice they take in silicone to joint between the tongue and the frame, help keep rust out of those areas. Underbody tool tray, standard equipment on all short track 7-wide HD dumps. Grommeted wiring, sealed and ran in frame. Notice everything's grommeted out, nice and neat. Back of the pump as well. Now one thing, I'll go back forward here and show you, this is a power up gravity down. They do that, you get a little bit extra battery life out of this. You get a few extra dump cycles. So on the gravity down, it would not be hydraulically locked in place, so they put a safety chain with a keeper on the dump bed side so that you can manually lock that bed down in place. Scoot to this side so you can see the keeper on there. While we're up front here, I'll tell you a little bit about the telescopic cylinder and why we chose this for this heavy duty dump. So Short Trac does manufacture all types of hoists. They do the dual ram, scissor, and telescopic. Generally, I hear the sales pitch, well, a dual ram's better, and generally it's because they sell a dual ram. Short Trac offers all three, so we try and educate people, and they can certainly buy what they choose. Telescopic, as most engineers will tell you, is going to be the most efficient. Generally, it's the reason why you're going to see it on most dump trucks. So, a couple of reasons it is more efficient. One, as you'll notice, it's all the way at the front of the box. Dual ram mounts at the midpoint of the fender. Scissor pretty much always mounts at the front side of the fender. Of course, it would depend on what size cylinders manufacturers are using, but generally that's the case on most all dumps that we've seen. So on a telescopic, first and foremost, again, you're lifting all the way at the front, so just like a seesaw, you're going to get a ton more leverage on that hoist. Second thing you're going to notice on a scissor and a dual ram, it's going to be mounted horizontal, trying to redirect force to get it to go vertical. There's a lot of wasted energy. Engineers have said dual rams are only about 40% efficient. A scissor is only about 60% efficient. Again, to give you a reference point, your dual ram would mount to the frame there, scissor there. Telescopics are about 100% efficient. They're about as efficient as you're going to get. So again, not only are they have all that leverage, but they're also pointed vertical, trying to go vertical, so they don't have to redirect all that force. A third thing you're going to find a telescopic would be, it's a 3-stage cylinder. So at each stage in the dump cycle, it's going to be much more efficient. So you've got your thicker bore. Whenever the cylinder is getting started in its first stage, it's going to be a little bit slower because of the extra size. And again, you're going to need that extra bore to get it started, because this is the most critical area of the dump cycle where you need the most pressure. So then it's going to neck down and again, neck down again. It's going to pick up speed as it goes. All told, it takes about the same time to dump as a scissor and a dual ram. It's just like a 3-speed bicycle versus a 1-speed bicycle. It gives you, the proper gearing as needed. So, and then your gravity down would be your fourth reason why a gravity is going to be your most efficient hoist. Efficiency means a few things. One, you get more dump cycles per battery charge. Another neat thing Short Trac does, this hoist is way more than what you would need for the amount of payload for this trailer. So what they do, I'll try and show you in the toolbox here, they actually set the pressures lower. So in the dump industry, most manufacturers preset the dumps to 3,200 PSI. And if I can zoom in there, that's a 1,700 PSI relief, and then looks like a Sharpie says 23 or 2,500 PSI upward. And what that basically means is this runs a much lower operating pressure than what a dual ram or even a scissor in most cases, which means your seals on that hoist theoretically should hold up better long term. So again, lots of advantages of the telescopic. We said about the 17.5 rubber. Now one thing Short Trac does, and it's trying to show you a close-up, and I'm having a tough time getting into this, they run an 8K axle that has a 3 3/8 inch brake assembly on it. So different manufacturers have different setups in the industry. Some use the same brake on a 8K as a 7, which we'd refer to as a non-SAE. Dexter now on some of theirs is using a 2.5 inch brake assembly. Part of the benefit to the 8K axle was you got the same brake assembly as a dual tandem, so you got lots of braking for the GVW of the trailer. Again, there's quite a bit of variation in the industry. You may get the same brakes as a 7K. Dexter uses a similar brake assembly to what I call a true 8K. it just doesn't have the surface area. It's 2.5 inches instead of 3 3/8 inches. So again, something else to look for. Lots of differences on 8K axles. They range all over the board. Just check and see what you're getting. Another feature we like about short track's that integrated body stiffener. That goes down the long sill. Adds a lot of strength to the trailer, just like a house keyway, without adding a ton of additional weight. Taking a look at the stake pockets going down the sides, a couple of neat things I like about these. They're about twice the height of most stake pockets. They integrate into that body stiffener. I'll give you a close-up of some of the welds on short tracks too. They're pretty clean. Then you also notice that the stake pocket sits right underneath the top rail. So one little benefit of that setup would be it gives you some strength if you're banging around with a tractor bucket or similar. It might help keep from dinging up that top rail. So these guys going down the sides are just, I believe they're called rope rings or similar for tying off a bungee strap to your tarp kit. Now, tarp kit's not standard on these, but they do put a provision in there for a tarp, so it doesn't look like, if you do put a tarp on, it doesn't look like something somebody just scabbed together afterward. Also, that bulkhead front and rear gives you a nice spot to put a 2x12 or similar. And then one of the last benefits I like of the bulkhead would be it gives you a nice spot for your lights. They're up where somebody can see them. One last benefit of that bulkhead would be too, if you got lighter weight material, it should help keep from blowing some of that material out. A couple of little finish quality details we like about short track. Where the wiring comes out of the frame, they take the time to silicone that all up, put a gusset there. Try and zoom in on some other little details. Do a little bit heavier hinge than what we've seen on some, do some double pass welds, cap the end of the frame there. Then you also notice they put a grease zert on your pivot point. And then again, some more little details. Most manufacturers I've never really seen put a gusset plate in the back of the hanger there for some extra support. That's a high stress area. Another high stress area would be over your axle area on 14-foot up telescopics and the 8K axles. They're putting that piece of plate on there just to reinforce that area. Again, some guys get impressed with how big the frame size is, and it's not necessarily how big the frame is, it's how well the reinforced areas get reinforced. So again, we like their attention to some of those details. Slipper spring suspension, you also notice it's got the grease zert on the hinge point for some added serviceability. Let's see if we can also find the brake connection here. Notice the brake connection on that's all sealed and molded. Again, these guys do a pretty quality job on those details. Some new features for 2019, I'll take you around the back. Put an extra heavy duty hinge on there on the rear door. Notice it's got a pair of grease zerts on it. Of course, they got zerts on the door itself. I can't hardly see it, but underneath there, the bar for the ramp holder or the ramp hook, a little more substantial. And then they've rolled the top out, down, and returned it back to the back door for some extra strength. So again, they've added some little detail. Also, you notice the chains at the back. We like the way their door setup is. It swings all the way back against the fender, hooks onto the clip there. 5 D-rings in the bed are standard. 2-foot sides are also standard. A trailer like this is going to weigh in somewhere in the 4,600 pound range, give or take. It's going to give you a net legal payload of about 11.4 plus tongue weight. Tongue weight gets transferred to the tow vehicle and it's about another 15%, give or take. My name's Greg with Best Choice Trailers. If you have any questions on this or any of our other trailers, feel free to give us a ring at 717-220-4220 or visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.